Hello and welcome to Papa's Farm. This is the first time in the year that we're doing a multi-vegetable or multi-produce harvesting from our garden. This right here is my absolute favorite spinach. It's called a Bloomsdale longleaf, and I never harvest the full plants, or I shouldn't say never. The only time I harvest the full plants is when I'm harvesting them for the last time, when they're ready to come out. I try to do cut and come again as long as I possibly can. And if you're not familiar with the term cut and come again, it's literally that. You're coming through and you're taking off leaves, and then you let the plant come back, and you come back and take off more. I normally pick it all the way down to 2 small leaves, which is what I did before this, and as you can see, they come back in abundance. This time though, I'm leaving more of the small ones to get big, because I actually let the plants get bigger than I like because I had to go out of town on business. So I can easily leave more of the small ones around and still get a very, very decent harvest. And I will give you a close-up in a second here of what they look like after I pick the leaves off. By doing this, I increase the harvest I get from the spinach. I would recommend this spinach to anybody. We have given a lot of it away to friends and family, and all of the responses we've got has been very positive. I literally have had people tell me it's the best tasting spinach they've ever had. A lot of it just has to do with the fact that it's homegrown. It's also extremely easy to grow, and it's readily available almost anywhere. So here you can get a good idea of what the plants look like before I pick them and what they look like after I pick them. And probably within a week, I would guess, they'll be right back where they were again, ready for another picking. So whenever I pick a brassica in a garden that I've planted probably tighter than I have, which, as a confession, I have probably done here. I like to go in and snip a few of the base leaves, like so. And I'll show you why in a second here. So I just kind of clean it up all around outside of what I consider the core portion of the plant. Just cut these off so I can see all the way around it. The reason for that is so when I pull out of the ground, which is what I'm going to do, I like to put my hands around where I'm pulling it out so it does the least amount of damage possible to the ground around it, the least amount of disturbance, so that any more tender, smaller plants that I've planted hopefully don't get damaged because of that. In this case, I planted some peas, intentionally hoping that they would take over when the cabbage is gone. Okay, so now that I got it trimmed up all the way around it, I'll come in and I kind of tip it, and I put my hand around the stem, and then I pull on it, try to push some of this peripheral dirt back in so that I'm not pulling as much dirt out, but more cabbage. Give it a good shake. Then I lean it over the edge like so. And I come in and I cut that stem off at the roots. And voila, leaving me with just the cabbage that I will now put in the basket with the spinach. Next, I want to get some cilantro before it starts going to seed. This plant's actually been doing really well. It's easier just to cut a whole stem. Put this in here on the other side on top of the spinach. And I am just going to aggressively cut this back because this thing has been going crazy. However, it's getting pretty warm and I don't want it bolting on me. We have another one already in the back porch. It's already going to seed that we're going to use for coriander. Hopefully. Whew. Well, I tell you what, I'll be smelling like cilantro for the rest of the day. This is borderline pungent. Some really good stuff. I will probably end up drying most of this for use as dried cilantro. Although I'll probably give some away. Also this year, I intend to start marketing a little bit of my produce. So if you live in the area and are interested in some homegrown produce, let me know. The final thing I wanted to pick was a little rhubarb. Now, this one, technically, I wouldn't normally pick yet. Still kind of a small plant. However, it's got this flower stalk, and I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here, this off here. This I will compost. And as long as I'm here, I'll go ahead and pick one more stalk. I think I'll go for this one. I've cut off the leaves, as we all know. You don't even want to eat those. And I end up with 3 small pieces of rhubarb. Over here, in my other rhubarb garden, it's a different story. I probably won't mess with that little guy there, but I'm going to get a few stalks off this bad boy. I probably should have divided this one this winter. It definitely needs to be divided though. You want to try to make sure you never harvest more than a third of your plant. I doubt that I'll harvest that much of this one. I might. Some nice stalks. So, in a nutshell, this is what we got for the first multi-picking harvest of the year. And I didn't even get probably half of my spinach. I would say maybe 10 to 15 pounds, believe it or not. I will let you know. So, I wasn't too far off from my estimate. I got roughly 2.5 pounds of spinach, almost 6 ounces of cilantro, about 2.5 pounds of rhubarb, and 6 pounds, 2 ounces of cabbage, bringing me to a grand total of about 11 pounds of food. So that's our first of the spring. Hopefully we'll see much more. I hope everyone has a really blessed day.